Welcome to episode 2 of our exclusive video that we record for Patreon. And thanks to everybody that has subscribed so far. Huge
Yeah,
thank you.
very
Do
happy.
feel
Very
free
happy.
to leave some comments because so far we've not heard anything back from anyone. And we do want people to shape the future of these lessons a little bit as well. So
It's early days yet.
it is, yeah. So, you know who John is and you know who I am by now, I hope. Today we've picked another song to go at, which is, John, I'll let you do the intro.
Well, it's Mad World, by Tears for Fears, or should I say Roland Orzabal. Is that the correct pronunciation of his name? I don't know.
I think it is, yeah.
Who was really the brains behind Tears for Fears. And wrote most of the songs. Absolute genius guy. The thing is with the song is that it was like a 1980s synth pop, if you like, but was then made popular by Gary Jules. I think around about 2000, 2001 with a film called Donnie Darko. Have you seen the film, Dave?
Yeah, I waited.
Oh, I haven't seen it. Is it any good?
It's a difficult one for me to say because I'd heard about it about a year before it came out.
Yeah.
So it got delayed, massive delayed release in the UK because I think it was, I can't remember. There was some incident. Was it September 11? Would that make sense? Would that tie up?
Possibly.
So
yeah.
because there's a plane crash in the movie, they delayed the release by at least a year. So then the hype was too much for me, and I didn't really like the movie after that.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. Well, anyway, I think I heard it as well on an episode of Missing Without a Trace, which is I really like that. It was. Did you see that with Jack Malone, the FBI searching for missing people? I think I heard it. That was the first time I'd heard it was on there. They used it.
Oh, there's a big standout moment for the Gary Jules one, which it was used on an ad for a game called Gears of War. So
well, not where I live because I don't live in the same country, so I didn't see that one.
So it's quite interesting actually. So it's a game about it's an Xbox game, and it was released, and it's about like aliens, like I think basically taking over Earth, and it's a big shooting up game and loads of blood and guts and big grunt blokes and stuff. But actually, to use Gary Jules' version of Mad World on an ad for a game like that just seemed absolutely crazy. So it was really standout. They had this really beautiful, soft song on this game that was completely the opposite.
Yeah.
I was looking at that the other day. Yeah, it's a real standout moment.
Okay, well that's interesting as well. All right,
so Gary Jules gets all the credit, but
always,
it wasn't just him though, was it, on that version?
Oh, I don't know.
There was somebody else that I believe a composer that arranged it or something like that. It was Michael. I can't remember his surname, but yeah, it wasn't just Gary Jules, but he came away with all the plaudits.
It's very pretty and so different to the original version. You know, the original version is kind of really up tempo, even though the theme of the song is very sort of downbeat. It's all about like I think suffering at school and being depressed or what have you. But it was like really, really sort of like the tempo was really fast, and you got all these synthesizers and drum machines in it. So I think the Gary Jules version is actually perhaps more relevant to the lyrics of the song, if you like. So and it's really good. The introduction is very pretty, very simple, in fact. Do you want to just go into that then? Start us with the chord structure. Tell us what how we'd go about just strumming it if you want.
Yeah. I mean, a basic version. So, I mean, we have a short intro. Are we going to cover the intro, or do you want to get straight into the verse?
Yeah, whatever. What are the chords for the song first?
So we've only got 4 chords in the whole song, which is pretty nice. So we've got an A minor, which is 2-0-0-0. We have a C, which is 0-0-0-3. We have a G, which is 0-2-3-2. I presume you all know this, but I'm going to read them out. And then we've got a D, which is 2-2-2-0.
Don't do your ukulele teacher. So grab your uke to play a C chord. No, we don't want to do that. You can play.
You know why I do it though? Because like inevitably when I don't do it, somebody goes, "Oh, what's the G chord again?" And it's like, right, okay, let's.
Right, no, sorry. Shouldn't laugh. We're here to teach, so there are no stupid questions.
Our basic version, so starts on an A minor, into a C, into a G, and into a D, and then realistically, then we move into, so that's the verse, A minor, C, G, D. We then have a pre-chorus and the chorus, and those are the only real three parts to this entire song. So pre-chorus is A minor. So it's A minor, C, D. Is that right?
Yeah, it's A minor, C, and D. Yeah. But what I like about this song is which is nice, as opposed to just the same four chords repeating over and over again. And you see with like Watermelon Sugar and other like pop songs, is they have a chorus, but the chord progression doesn't change, you know. And they might even have like a bridge section, and the chord progression doesn't change, you know. The dynamics change. They might speed up, slow down, you know. They might, instead of doing like, you know, 4 strums, might do 2 strums or what have you. What's interesting about this song is that the chorus has the verse has 4 chords, you know. So it's A minor, C, G, and D. The pre-chorus has 3 chords. So A minor, C, and D. And the chorus has 2 chords. So it's kind of reducing from 4 to 3 to 2. And that's nice, because the chorus is just, what is it? Yeah, it's
A minor, D.
Yeah, that's it. Just 2 chords. So it goes 4 chords, 3 chords, 2 chords. And that's nice. Easy to play, but it's nice. It you know, mixes it up a little bit, makes it more interesting.
Right, so we've covered the sort of basics of this song. We've not played a lot yet, but should we move into a slightly more advanced version of it?
Yeah, so let's look at what I decided would be the best way to play the Gary Jules intro, which is campanella.
Yep.
All right. It's a good introduction to campanella picking, if you like, as well, for those of you who are interested in doing campanella playing. Because campanella is a lot of people say it's counterintuitive, because you're playing it across all the strings. So you may be looking for a higher note, but on a lower string. What I do when I'm arranging campanella is I actually thinking of shapes, like you would play a chord, but not a chord, just a series of notes across the strings. So there you go. What are the first? How would you put your fingers there for the first part of the campanella intro?
So if we have index finger on fret 5, I place my 3rd finger on fret 7 of the E string, and my 4th finger on fret 7. It's so hard to say these of the A string. So I've got, yep.
So go on then, do it.
So we got.
And then we drop down to the F sharp here.
Yeah, which
is the D chord. All right, but can you see that then? I'm not looking for I'm not looking to play the notes of a melody, you know, up and down the strings. I'm actually holding my fingers in place. They're all ready to go. It's almost like holding a chord, and this is how I arrange it. And when I'm arranging, you know, more, you know, longer pieces in campanella, you know, I break it down into those kind of things where, you know, you can find all of those different patterns where you can start playing melodies, but you're actually just holding one shape. And I think you said that when I was doing the lesson on
D minor. I think it was a D minor scale, wasn't it?
My hand doesn't move very much.
Your hand barely moves, but there's an awful lot of notes going on there.
It's just like fretting chords, if you like.
Right. Yeah, and this is a really good example of that. So we've got 2 bars of notes on the intro, and only 2 positions, so it's more or less exactly the same as playing a chord per bar.
Yeah, that's right. All right. Okay, so you've already learned that. Do you want to just do it again for me?
So you had a little hammer on in there, actually, I noticed. So
yeah.
So the way what I'm doing is, so I'm plucking thumb, index, what do you call that finger? Middle? Yeah.
Middle and ring. Yeah.
So I'm playing thumb, middle, index, thumb. I'm lifting my pinky off, middle, index, thumb, and then I'm dropping my index finger. I think you might do this a little bit differently to me, onto the 2nd fret of the E string. And I'm dropping my 2nd finger above.
That's
the
correct. Yeah, that's the best way to play
it. Cool.
And I hammer on from the open C. But that's just, you know, that's just a little way to ornament it a little bit more.
Okay.
And you can go up and down as you want. I mean, as I said before, you can call this free time. Just put a little bit of passion into it, a bit of feeling into it. Don't just rigidly stick to the 4/4 time. If you want to make a note longer, then you can do that.
Yeah. So obviously, everyone watching this has got the tab. One of the things I said to John just before we started recording was, but my fingering actually probably needs a little bit of work here.
Okay, right.
I'm in a very strange position here.
Just get a bit closer to the camera.
Cool.
So you can have a look. All right, so I'm back into my shape here. Right, two fingers on the 7th fret, one finger on the 5th fret up here. And when I hit the C note again, okay, with my index finger, I'm just going to lay. Oh, sorry, I just banged the microphone. I'm just going to lay it over to make a bar, and then drop my 2nd finger on to make this chord, which is going to be my D major chord here. So I'm actually playing a D major chord. So let me just do that again if I can. Can you see that there? Oops.
Got it.
All right, so economizing the movement. All right, don't be taking your fingers off, laying them back on again if you can. So I've got that, and then just make a bar chord.
Cool, got that.
There. Because that's what we're doing. Basically, we're doing that. The structure of that is the chorus. It's just those 2 chords. It's mad. It's when you sing Mad World, and that's what you got. Now watch this. I can do this. Mad. I can't do it in the right key. Mad world. Mad world. I forgot it there. I couldn't. I
definitely can't do it over the top of finger picking.
It's just 2 words. So you just hold the note. La la na na na.
Yeah, I suppose the word changes on the next chord change as well, which makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. A bit of a finger economy there going on. That works. That's better than my stacking my fingers in a weird bunch.
Yeah. Okay. Good. So that's the intro.
It's worth me pointing out that John did send me the tab for this a little bit ahead of time, so I can play it a little bit, although I do play it a little bit differently to you, which we're going to go into in a bit.
Good. All right. Well, that's that's what I always encourage people to do, is not rigidly stick to the tab that I made. And occasionally I do get this where I think just once, so it's not very often. But one person left a comment and says, this tab is not what you play on the video. And, my answer is, well, I never play the same thing twice. So you get it down on paper and then you do the tab. But I've always had this, all through my life, where, my guitar hero was John Renbourn. Great fingerstyle guitarist, for me, the greatest of his time. And I'd buy his tab books, but what I was seeing on the paper wasn't what I was hearing. It's just so difficult to get down exactly on it. So
I noticed this with a lot of blues stuff. So when I'm seeking out blues playing, it's like the tab is just like roughly what they're playing at best.
Yeah. Develop your own style and develop your own fingerings as well. I never put fingerings on the tab because I think that people should work it out for themselves and whatever's best for them. What might be good for me might not be good for somebody else.
I agree with that. I think that when it comes to finger economy, you've sort of got to go through it a little bit yourself to find what works for you, and then you'll there's nothing better than like finding something that's really awkward, trying to move to it, and then thinking, actually, what if I just move my index finger instead? And then thinking, oh wow, that's so much easier. But I think you've sort of got to work that out yourself to really.
Yeah, and it's nice for us to be able to have a video where I can explain this, because sometimes people download the tabs from my website, and they say, oh, I need more help. I need to do more. But the only ukulele book that I've ever bought in my life is From Lute to Uke by Tony Mizzen, who's a classical guitarist as well. Do you know the book?
I know the book, yeah.
You may have seen me playing some of his pieces on there. And I think it's in the introduction where he says that when he was learning classical guitar, his teacher says, get a pen and scratch off all of the fingerings. He says, because you don't want those. You want to work it out for yourself. So I'm not the only one to say that.
I don't know what it is. Like there's a little bit of satisfaction, I think, of just working out an easier way to play something that's quite difficult. And I think that's worth going through the pain barrier a little bit for.
Yeah, that's right. And when I was, when I'm making like a new book, sometimes I work through the tabs, get them down on paper, quite happy with it. And then when I revisit those tunes, I find a different way of playing it. And I think that's sometimes that may be reflected in the when people watch the video and say, well, that's not what the tab says. I say, yeah, but I found a better way. I'm sorry.
Well, I'll
always answer the question. If you ask me what it is, I'll tell you. But
we might find that as we go through this song and work out where I'm playing it a little bit differently.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So do you want to do the first 4 bars the way you would do it? And I'll try and do the first 4 bars the way I would do it.
Okay, right. So I'm going to be plucking the chords. So going all the way down, from thumb, or so when I finish the introduction, into the A minor chord. So pluck the chord, and I'm just bouncing from A minor to C, back to A minor, and then up to C on the 7th fret. So that's 0 0 8 7. And I'm going to fill in then with okay. And taking my 3rd finger off to play the E here, just for that little fill. Is that okay? That's what you were doing, or were you strumming it?
I'm strumming, so I'm playing almost but I'm not strumming like that. I'm largely strumming with my thumb on this. A bit of a mix of my thumb and then my finger picking up little parts of the picking. So I'll do the first couple of bars before we jump down to the G. So I quite like, partly because me and John have been talking a little bit lately about the Hawaiian players and their dependence on thumb strumming. So I've started to do it a little bit now as well. But it seems to work for me in this song. So the reason I like playing it that way is I can dwell a little bit on these bottom strings when I'm strumming with my thumb. So I can really play some. I just feel like I can get a cleaner sound than if I were to strum. I can place. There's a little bit more pressure on those bottom 2 strings, which I quite like in this song.
Yeah. No, you're right. It adds a nice dynamic to it, and that's very good. Yeah.
And then we
like that.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So then the next.
Then drop to the G. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that's the G5 chord then with my little finger.
So are you strumming this part normally when you play, or are you back to? So I stay.
All right. Now, imagine that I was performing this. I had to do a recording for my YouTube or a performance. Then you're going to want to mix it up. So I would say that first verse, it's all going to be fingerstyle. So plucked chords. Like that, or pluck chords. And then maybe second verse is then, mix it up and like that. But yeah, so first verse finger picking, second verse adding a little bit more strum chords or thumb strokes or whatever you want, just so it sounds a bit different from the first time, so you're not repeating exactly the same thing.
Yeah, that's a good idea. And this is arguably for me, this is one of the songs where I couldn't really tell you if I'm playing exactly what you've tabbed down. I'm getting the bulk of the chords in the right places. I'm probably finger picking a little bit differently. So I think I am. So when I referred back to your tab after I'd sort of got my head around this a little bit, I looked back and I was like, I'm not playing that note or that note, but it still sort of sounds okay to me. So I'm quite cool with it. So that's where I get to. So I think in my G5, I'm playing it a little bit differently. So I don't play it barred. I don't know whether you do it initially. So I don't play it barred. I actually drop to a bar part way through. So I start out with it held not barred. So I just have my index finger on fret 2, my second finger on fret 3, and my pinky on fret 5. Then when I get here, I lay it down. And I just lay it down for the bar. There's something about dropping. I think it's the move from the C up here into this G. I find it a little bit easier to drop into it without it being a barred chord.
Whatever works for you.
Yeah. So this is one of those instances where it probably would be better. Not doing that. I find it easier to not do that.
Okay. No, I would say that the barring is better because you're moving into this D chord here, which also has a bar. So you're already ready. When I say try to reduce the amount of hand movement, it's just a matter of it's just a matter of moving your finger up to play the A. So you've got a D chord, and removing your middle finger. So you're going from G5 to G to D, and then you can pull off here, and your index finger is already in place for the A minor chord as well. So
yeah, I still get. God, hang on a sec. So you're playing a pull off there.
Yeah, pull off. It's a strong pull off, and then back into that A minor chord.
Yeah. Okay.
Then you do that 4 times. And then that 4 times through. All right. Okay. And
cool.
Then, as I say, in the second verse, if you want to increase the dynamics by putting some strums and different strokes in it, like that. Okay. Right. So
great.
That's okay.
Yep, that's all good. I think we're sort of happy there. 2 slightly different ways to play it.
Whatever is good for you is fine with me. I have no problem with that. Okay. And the pre-chorus then.
C and D.
Yeah. All right. So I've got my little finger up to the E on the first string 7th fret as well. So I'm playing a barred C chord, dropping my little finger on, and sliding the whole shape up to the D, and taking it off again. So it sounds like this. So he sings where I find it kind of funny, I find it kind of sad. How are you doing it? Are you strumming that?
So I'm still strumming. This is actually, before I get to the way I play it, this is one of the sections where when I first looked at the tab and started playing it, I'm looking at the 3 and I'm looking at the 7 and my fingers are moving around a lot. And I found the finger economy that you've got where effectively you've just got 3 positions and using your little finger. So from those 3 positions, which is your A minor, you've got a barred C, and then you've got a barred D.
Yeah,
you're getting quite a lot of notes out of that. Particularly with dropping this pinky finger on, and it's quite a nice one too. Yeah, it's quite a nice one to slide from that C to that D chord. Actually, one of the I should point out, I've got a uke. This is quite annoying, actually. I have a uke that has a fret marker on fret 9 rather than fret 10, and boy, does that confuse me when I'm changing to chords like this. So it's quite common for me to slide up one fret too far here.
Yeah. Okay. I have no fret markers, just on the top here, and these are painted on, and when I've lost one, I don't have a 10th one anymore. I have to get some Tipex and put it back on.
I've never used side markers for anything in my life. I don't look at them. I tend to look right down the front of it, which is bad.
It's bad habits.
Really bad.
I'm trying to keep it vertical. Don't lean over and look.
Well, one lesson I want to do is actually just playing with your eyes shut and not really looking at the uke at all, if you can help it.
Yeah, you should do that. You try that. That could be good. And again, so that's 4 times around.
Okay, so 4 times around there.
Yeah, that's good. Okay. And I think so. Then the final time when he's going to sing, it's a very, very mad world. So maybe you're just the melody's going to change a little bit. That's it. No, it's not. It's the same, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the same.
And then into the chorus.
Sorry, messed the last bit up. Let me try that again.
That's right. Yeah. Okay. Again, so that's my arrangement of it. It's basically just 2 chords. So you can sing. You could just play. The melody is because the chorus only has 2 words. It's Mad World.
Yep.
All right. So when he sings, he's singing Mad World. So it's very long. So I was thinking, well, what do I do with that? Because you don't get a lot of sustain on the ukulele to hold the note. So I just decided to. Just pluck those chords again, but it works just as well with strumming like you're doing. So what I'm doing there, just on the theory side, is that it's A minor, and then it's C major 7, back to A minor, to a kind of A minor 7 because I've got a G in it now, and that just helps me to slide down to the D. Okay, so basically I'm going. That's what I'm doing. So it's a descending run, from C to B to A to G to F sharp, and the F sharp is in the D major chord, like that. All right, which is very similar to the Gary Jules. It's a descending run. So I'm going.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, there's a Justin guitar lesson for this, and actually his intro is very much what you're sort of playing for the chorus here. He sort of effectively plays something very similar. It's just a descending run, then straight into the verse.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. Yeah, and that's really good. And if you wanted to, you could do you could replace that with the Gary Jules run for the chorus, or have it just as a little, what would you call that? Like a little instrumental between that. It's up to you. I mean, we're not doing exactly what they're doing, so we could do the chorus, go back into verse 2. There are only 2 verses in the song, I think.
Yeah, I think there are. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's no sort of middle 8 or anything like that. There's no bridge. So you again, mix it up. Do that one time. Maybe the next time, either do it again or just go back into what we did for the introduction, and that you've got a nice arrangement there. I think that's pretty good.
The one thing the 2 things I really like about, I'm doing the Spanish Inquisition here. The one thing that I like about this arrangement, the 2 things that I like about this arrangement. Firstly, it's not that difficult to learn this one. It took me the best part of probably an hour and a half, something like that, to get this down and get it to a nice standard.
Yeah.
The second thing is, it's just a really good song for an arrangement like this. It really fits.
Works
really
very
well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's a sad song, and what we're doing is we're trying to get these sort of harpy sounds from the ukulele when it's finger picked. So yeah, it works very well.
I also really like playing sad songs on the ukulele because it kind of puts those people at pay that just say it's just a sort of comedy instrument. Yeah. And it just does little happy songs, and it's nice to be able to play something finger picked that's quite sad.
Yeah.
Works really, really well. Not too difficult, and hopefully we've given a few pointers here in how you can get around some of the maybe trickier bits.
So the tab is there. The tab is there to download. So have a go at the tab, and if you find your own variations, that'll be really good. And tell us about them as well. We'd love to see what variations you've got that make ours sound different or even better.
Yeah, this is. I'm a bit of a stickler for sticking to the tab and playing it completely as is. And this is one of the songs where I sort of did about half an hour picking it to pieces, getting it down, and then I got it. And I never really played it following the tab ever again. And one thing that I like to do, John, which I've never really mentioned before, is I try and put the tab away as early as I possibly can. Because there are certain songs that I can play and I have to just read the tab. I can sight read the tab at the same time as play, but you take that tab away from me and I've got nothing at all. I can't play it. So what I try and do these days is I get a section down, I put the tab away, I'll play that section again and try and get it mentally down so I know the song completely off the top of my head rather than having to depend on the tab. And I think
that's right.
It's really key to do that so that you actually retain the information rather than just getting the muscle memory and being able to look at a piece of paper to do it. So I would recommend that as a technique to do.
That's what I do as well.
But what it allows me to do then is actually get a little bit more creative with it and maybe not follow the tab exactly. So this is one of the few instances where I go a little bit off tab and I don't play it identically to what you've tabbed down, but I still I like the feeling of what I've got with my thumb strummed version of it, and it sort of allows me to place the emphasis in those places where I want to.
Okay, all right. The other thing that I just wanted to point out as well is that on my YouTube video, I invented my own introduction. Okay, I didn't want to do the Gary Jules version at the time because it seemed that it was everywhere. So I think maybe I'll re-record it with that introduction so people can see what I'm doing as well.
Well, I'm going to do it as well, so we can basically see the amateur and the pro, the two versions that we will have.
Who's the amateur and who's the pro here? I don't know.
I'm definitely the amateur.
Oh, don't say that. It's not true. All right, but I think that's everything, isn't it? We covered everything.
Yeah, I think that's it for this time. Again, if you've enjoyed it, do leave us a comment because we are trying to adapt these as we go and try and make them better for you. This is only our second recording together, and we want to keep making good content that you find useful.
That's right, and any suggestions for future content as well, let us know.
Cool. So thanks for watching as usual, and we'll be back pretty soon.
Okay, great. See you soon.
Cool.
Bye.
See ya.